Why do Walkmans stop working? And how hard is it to fix them? Flash forward, it's actually quite easy. Let's jump into it. Portable cassette players were being built at a time when audio devices were made in a way so they could be easily serviceable, were engineered to be reliable, and had high quality components. Having said that, a very important inner part had to be made from rubber. The mechanism that makes the tape turn is comprised of a certain number of pulleys and a rubber belt or more belts that sit on their grooved rim. That rubber belt that connects the pulleys, after many years of use, begins to widen, losing its grip and playback capability. 90% of Walkmans stop working or will stop working because of this. The belt can also get too hard and crack, get too soft and don't go back to its previous form, turn liquid, etc. But luckily, in most cases, a belt replacement is a very easy task with no special tools needed. I will try to be as general as possible, so this could serve anyone who wants to go and try to change the belt for the first time. For the task, we need very simple tools: a Phillips screwdriver 00 with a 2mm tip width, a pair of tweezers, a cotton bud, and what I also like to use is a card or some thin layered cardboard to open the Walkman, not to use any metal or hard plastic on it. The first thing you need to do is to open your Walkman and find where the belt is. Not all cassette players were built in the same way, so sometimes belts could be harder to locate. Some models will have their belts under the PCB, so you will have to remove that as well. If you see that desoldering is needed or that the PCB just won't come off without dismantling part of the mechanism, it's better not to force it and check if you see more information about your model online. The most important task before you even get your hands dirty is to find the right belt for your cassette player. Once you've found the belt's location, you will have two outcomes. Either it is there in one piece or it melted or it broke. If the belt is not in one piece, then you can go to fixyouraudio.com or eBay and look for the right belt size for your model. I use fixyouraudio.com many times and they are a very reliable online shop. They are based in Slovakia, so have that in mind when you order. Here in Europe, it takes around a week to get your belt delivered, and the prices and shipping fees are excellent. For €5 including shipping, you can bring your old audio device back to life. It's pretty awesome. Now, if the belt is in one piece, you can still look on the same website for the right one. But if it's not listed, then you have another option. Extend the belt with 2 needles or pins and measure its length. In this case, it's 110 mm. Its circumference will be 2 times 110 mm. That's 220. Belts are listed by the internal diameter, and to find this, we have to do the equation circumference divided by P equals diameter. And that's 220 mm divided by 3.14 equals 70 mm. Considering that most belts widen around 10% of their initial length, we'll do 70 mm minus its 10%, that will be 63 mm. In fixyouraudio.com, you must then filter them by dimensions. The belt thickness for most Sony Walkmans is 0.6 mm or 0.5 mm. I found a post from the man himself who makes the belts, and he says, please do not use 0.7 mm belts with most Panasonic and Sony models, as the groove in the metal wheels is usually 0.7 mm wide, the same as the belt. Better use 0.5 or 0.6 mm belts, and in the worst case, use 0.8. Now that you've found the right belt, let's replace it. First we take all the screws out, then slide the car in between the top and bottom chassis, and try to remove one of the sides first. Just gently, don't use so much pressure. Then try to wiggle it and pull from the top. For this video, I'm gonna use my Sony WM-EX5. It's a beautiful model that I only found for €60 on my local eBay. Here is the letter I got from fixyouraudio.com. As you can see, it comes very well packaged. And the same belt that can be used for my Sony model can also be used for many other more. Now you will hear the sound of my Walkman trying to play a cassette on my old belt. As we can see, the belt has loosened its grip, so we'll just have to remove it. Now here is a comparison between both belts. On the bottom is the widened belt, my old belt, and on top is the new one. What is very important is to clean the grooves of the wheels. For this, I flatten the tip of a cotton bud and then clean every single wheel. When I opened this Walkman, the old belt was already routed, so it's very easy for me to place the belt in the path I saw before. But if you open your Walkman and your belt is not there, I recommend to get online and try to find the belt's route for your own model. Many times they follow the same pattern, so it's not so difficult to figure it out. Now let's see how the Walkman reacts to the new belt. I hope that was helpful. There are literally thousands of portable cassette models from many brands. That's why I wanted to try and do a general overview on their most common problem and how to fix it. Many units are not as serviceable as others, but I have previously made a video on which Walkman to buy that comes very handy because those series from Iowa and Sony are very uncomplicated to work with. I'll write down a link for that video in the description down below. Thanks for watching. Until next time.